The conference room door clicked shut behind Julian Vance, and I watched him walk away with my folder clutched under his arm, like he had just won something. He had not won anything. He had just stolen my presentation 52 minutes before the biggest pitch of my career. A Harvard man should present the $156 million deal, not a self-taught coder. He had said, laughing like it was the funniest joke he had heard all week. The three senior partners around the table had shifted in their seats, but nobody stopped him. Nobody said a word to defend me. My name is Clara Boyd, and I am the lead systems architect at Vance Financial Solutions. That is a fancy way of saying I build the technological backbone that keeps billion-dollar transactions flowing smoothly. I did not go to Harvard. I did not go to any university. I learned to code in my bedroom at 20, turned that skill into a career, and spent the last 11 years proving I belonged in rooms where everyone else had framed degrees and family connections. Julian Vance had both. His degree hung in his office, right next to a photo of him shaking hands with the chief executive officer, Harvey Vance, who also happened to be his cousin. That was how things worked at Vance Financial. Merit got you in the door, but family kept it open. The Kensington Group meeting was scheduled for 3 o'clock. I had spent 4 months preparing for it, sacrificing family time with Daniel and Chloe to refine system architecture diagrams. Kensington was not just another client. They were a major player that could transform Vance Financial. They had specifically requested me after hearing my speech on predictive volatility algorithms at a Boston conference 8 months earlier. They wanted a custom, bank-secure trading platform built from scratch, and they wanted the designer to present it. That was me. I told Harvey Vance, our chief executive officer, about the request immediately. He seemed thrilled, calling it my project. I should have seen what was coming. That morning, I went straight to the reserved conference room. My materials were loaded, and I had practiced my opening 25 times. I knew every detail. Julian was already waiting inside, sitting in my chair with his feet up, scrolling through his phone. "Morning, Clara. Big day, right?" I ignored the attitude and started connecting my laptop to the projector. About that. He had stood, walked over to where I was working. Harvey and I had a conversation yesterday about optics. My hands had frozen over the keyboard. Optics. The Kensington Group is old money, very traditional. Harvey thinks, and I agree, that they will respond better to someone who fits their expectations. He had smiled, but it had not reached his eyes. Someone from their world. They requested me specifically. They requested Vance Financial Solutions. You are part of Vance. I am part of Vance. We are a team, right? I was not naive. I knew exactly what he was doing. Julian, I designed this entire proposal, the system architecture, the security protocols, the implementation timeline. This is 4 months of my work, and it is excellent work. That is why I am confident presenting it. He had held out his hand. I will need your files. That is when the other partners had walked in. Oliver Briggs, Chief Financial Officer, Diana Cole, Head of Client Relations, and Harvey Vance himself. I had looked at Harvey. You are actually doing this. Harvey had the decency to look uncomfortable. Clara, you are brilliant at what you do, but Julian has experience with these high-level presentations. He went to school with half the people in that room. They did not ask for Julian. They asked for the person who designed the system, and you did design it. Julian will make sure they understand what you have built. Diana had chimed in then, her voice gentle like she was talking to a child. Sometimes the best thing we can do for our work is let someone else showcase it. This is not about your abilities, Clara. It is about giving the proposal the best chance of success. That is when Julian had laughed, that condescending, dismissive sound that made my teeth clench. Come on, Clara. A Harvard man should present the $156 million deal, not a self-taught coder. No offense, but Kensington expects a certain pedigree. I had wanted to throw something. Wanted to tell them all exactly what I thought of their pedigree and their optics and their old boys club mentality. But I was outnumbered, and Harvey was already nodding along with his cousin. So I had handed over the folder. Watched Julian flip through my notes like he was browsing a magazine. Stood there while they discussed presentation strategy, talking about me like I was not in the room. Clara, you are welcome to observe from the back, Harvey had said. Might be educational to see how these things work at the executive level. I had left instead, walked out of that conference room, past the curious stares from the administrative staff who definitely heard what happened, and locked myself in my office. My phone sat on the desk, Daniel's smiling face on the lock screen, Chloe on his shoulders at the beach last summer. I had missed her school play last month because of this project, missed our anniversary dinner because I had been debugging code at midnight. Daniel had understood, or at least he had said he did. "It will be worth it when you land this deal," he told me. Except now it was not my deal anymore. I pulled up a job search site on my computer, started browsing job postings. Maybe it was time to start looking elsewhere. Plenty of firms needed good systems architects, and most of them probably would not steal my work and hand it to someone's cousin. My desk phone rang at 3:35. I had been watching the clock since 3 o'clock, imagining what was happening 3 floors up in the executive conference room. Julian stumbling through my technical explanations, the Kensington representatives asking questions he could not answer. Harvey stepping in to smooth things over, making excuses. I almost did not pick up, but old habits die hard, so I grabbed the receiver. Clara Boyd. "Clara, it is Harvey. Can you come to my office, please?" His voice sounded strange, tight. "I am actually in the middle of something. Now." "Clara." The line went dead. I took the stairs instead of the elevator, giving myself time to think. Maybe they had realized their mistake. Maybe Kensington had asked where I was, and now they needed me to clean up Julian's mess. Fine. I would help with the presentation, but we were going to have a serious conversation about respect and credit afterward. Harvey's office door was open. He was alone, standing by the window, hands clasped behind his back. "Close the door," he said without turning around. I waited. He finally turned to face me. His expression was carefully neutral, but I could see tension in his jaw. "The Kensington pitch did not go well. What happened?" I kept my voice even, professional. They walked out. 52 minutes into Julian's presentation, their lead negotiator, Edward Kensington himself, stood up and ended the meeting. Despite everything, my stomach dropped. 4 months of work gone. Why? Harvey crossed to his desk, picked up a folder, my folder. He opened it, and I saw my notes inside, but something was off. Pages were missing. Entire sections I had prepared were gone. "Julian made certain modifications to your proposal. He thought some of the technical details were too complex, that they would bog down the presentation. So, he simplified." He simplified? I could not keep the edge out of my voice now. He simplified a proposal for a custom trading platform to one of the most sophisticated financial groups in the country. He removed the security protocol specifications, said they were too dense. My blood went cold. Those protocols were the cornerstone of the entire system. They are what made our proposal different from every other firm Kensington is considering. They are the reason Kensington contacted us in the first place. Yes, well, Edward Kensington said the same thing, roughly. Harvey sat down the folder. He called the presentation insulting, said we had clearly sent someone who did not understand their needs or our own proposal. He asked where you were. There it was. What did Julian say? He told them you were his assistant, that you had helped with some of the preliminary research. I actually laughed, could not help it. His assistant? Edward Kensington has a copy of the conference program from Boston. He saw you speak. He knows exactly who you are and what you do. Harvey's voice was getting quieter, which somehow made it worse. He told Julian that if Vance Financial Solutions could not be bothered to send the actual architect of the proposal, then Kensington could not be bothered to continue the conversation. Then he left. We stood in silence. Outside Harvey's window, the city stretched out under gray autumn clouds. Normal people doing normal jobs, probably not dealing with this corporate betrayal. "I assume you have handled Julian," I finally asked. Harvey's expression flickered, just for a second, but I caught it. "You are not serious." The words came out flat. He torpedoed a $156 million deal, lied about my role in the company, and what? He gets a slap on the wrist. He is family, Clara. I do not care if he is royalty. He cost this firm the biggest opportunity we have had in 5 years, which is why we need you to fix it. Harvey pulled out his phone, started scrolling. "I want you to call Edward Kensington, explain what happened, apologize for the confusion, and reschedule the presentation." The sheer audacity of it left me speechless for a moment. "You want me to apologize?" "I want you to salvage this deal. By calling someone who just watched your cousin claim credit for my work and lie about my position and asking for a second chance? While Julian faces no consequences, Julian has been temporarily removed from the project. Temporarily? Clara, I understand you are upset, but this is bigger than personal grievances. This firm employs 320 people. Their livelihoods depend on deals like Kensington. I need you to think beyond yourself here. Something in me went very quiet and very cold. I will think about it. Don't think too long. Kensington's team leaves the city tomorrow. I left his office without another word, took the stairs back down, each step feeling mechanical. People called out greetings as I passed. I did not respond. Back in my office, I sat in the dark for a while. I did not turn on the lights. Just watched the shadows lengthen as the afternoon faded. My phone buzzed. Daniel, how did it go? Are we celebrating tonight? I had forgotten I had promised to text him after the presentation. It is complicated. I will explain when I get home. Clara, what happened? Later, I promise. Give Chloe a hug for me. I hung up before he could press further. The Kensington Group's contact information was in my email. Edward Kensington's direct line, his assistant's extension, his mobile number that he had provided specifically for project-related questions. I could call right now, smooth everything over, deliver the presentation myself tomorrow morning, answer their questions, probably save the deal. And then what? Work for a company that had just shown me exactly how much they valued my contributions. Watch Julian face zero consequences while I cleaned up his disaster. Spend the next however many years wondering when they would do this to me again. My desk phone rang, Harvey's extension. I did not pick up. It rang 4 more times over the next hour. I ignored all of them. At 6:40, someone knocked on my door. I had locked it at some point without really thinking about it. Clara, Diana Cole's voice carefully concerned, can we talk? I am busy. I have a message from Harvey. He has authorized a bonus, $27,000 if you can get Kensington back to the table, $27,000. About what I would earn anyway if the deal went through and I got my usual percentage. They were not offering me anything extra. They were just dangling my own compensation like a reward for being a good team player. Diana, tell Harvey I will have an answer for him in the morning. Footsteps retreated. I turned back to my computer, pulled up that job search site again, started actually reading the job descriptions this time. My phone buzzed at 7:20, unknown number. Normally I would not answer, but something made me pick up. Clara Boyd. Clara, this is Edward Kensington. I sat up straight, suddenly very alert. Mr. Kensington, I heard the presentation did not go as planned. That is a diplomatic way of putting it. His voice was crisp, educated, exactly what I would expect from someone who ran a multi-billion-dollar investment group. I am calling because I want to understand something. The proposal I saw today bore almost no resemblance to the preliminary outline you sent last month. What happened? Truth or diplomacy? I had about 2 seconds to decide. There were some last-minute changes to the presentation team. I see. And these changes included removing the most critical technical specifications and having someone who clearly did not understand the material present in your place. That is accurate. Silence on the other end. Then, Ms. Boyd, I am going to be direct. Your presentation in Boston was excellent. Your preliminary proposal was exactly what we needed. Today's meeting was an embarrassment. I need to know if Vance Financial Solutions is capable of delivering what we need or if I am wasting my time. This was it, the moment where I either save Harvey's deal or burn that bridge completely. Mr. Kensington, can I ask you something? Go ahead. If you hire Vance for this project, who would you expect to be your primary contact? You, that is non-negotiable. I am not interested in working with intermediaries who do not understand the technology. Then, I need to be honest with you. What happened today is indicative of some internal dynamics at Vance that I am currently evaluating. If I am not here, I cannot guarantee the quality or integrity of the project. Another pause, longer this time. Are you telling me you are considering leaving? I am telling you that I need to work somewhere that respects my contributions. Today made it clear that Vance might not be that place. Understood. He sounded thoughtful now. Ms. Boyd, I am extending my stay in the city by 3 days. If you decide you are still at Vance and want to present the actual proposal, the one I know you designed, call my office before 11 o'clock tomorrow. We will schedule something, but I am only interested if you are the one presenting and you are committed to seeing the project through. And if I am not at Vance, then I would be very interested in knowing where you end up. I sat there holding my phone, processing what had just happened. Edward Kensington had basically told me that the deal was mine if I wanted it, but also that he would follow me wherever I went. That changed things. I stayed at the office until almost 9:30, not working, just thinking. The cleaning crew came through, emptying trash cans and vacuuming, giving me curious looks but not asking questions. My options kept circling in my head. Call Edward tomorrow, save the Vance deal, collect my bonus and my percentage, and go back to working for people who saw me as useful but replaceable. Or walk away, find something new, and maybe possibly have Kensington follow me there. Except it was not that simple. I had a partner and a kid at home. Daniel's freelance graphic design work was steady, but not reliable enough to carry us if I quit without something else lined up. Chloe's school tuition, our mortgage, the car payment, Daniel's student loans we were still paying off. I finally locked up and headed out. The parking garage was nearly empty, my car sitting alone on the third level. The engine turned over with a reassuring rumble, and I just sat there for a minute, hands on the wheel, trying to figure out what version of this story I was going to tell Daniel. Our apartment was in a converted warehouse building in the Arts District. Daniel was in the kitchen, dish towel over his shoulder. Chloe crashed into my legs before I could answer, wrapping her arms around my knees. "Mama, I made a volcano at school, and Miss Davis said it was the best one." I scooped her up, breathing in the kid's smell of her hair, letting the simple reality of her settle my nerves. Daniel had made pasta, and we got through the meal with Chloe providing running commentary on her day. After she went to bed, Daniel poured 2 glasses of wine and sat down across from me. "All right, tell me." So I did, the whole thing. Julian taking my presentation, Harvey backing him up, the pitch falling apart, Edward Kensington's phone call. Daniel listened without interrupting, his expression getting darker. "They actually said you were his assistant, after 4 months of you killing yourself." Julian said it. Harvey just did not correct him. Daniel leaned back, running a hand through his hair. "What are you going to do? If I save the deal, I am rewarding their behavior. But if I walk away, we are gambling. We have savings, 4 months, maybe 5. That is our emergency fund. This feels pretty emergency adjacent." He took my hand. "Clara, I have watched you come home exhausted. I have seen you miss things with Chloe, work yourself into the ground. And today, they showed you exactly what they think of all that effort. Maybe the question is not whether we can afford for you to leave. Maybe it is whether we can afford for you to stay." I felt tears burning. "I am scared," I admitted. "What if I burn this bridge and nothing else works out? What if Edward was just being polite? Then we figure it out. We always do. I am not scared of us struggling. I am scared of you spending the next 13 years at a place that treats you like this." We talked for another hour. By the time we went to bed, I still did not have a decision, but I felt less alone. I could not sleep. Around 3 o'clock in the morning, I went to the living room, pulled out my laptop, and started researching what it would take to start my own consulting firm. It was daunting, but not impossible. An email notification popped up from Edward Kensington. "Ms. Boyd, I hope you do not mind me reaching out directly. The Kensington Group is interested in the platform, but more importantly, in working with people who share our values. What happened today told me a lot. Regardless of what you decide about tomorrow's presentation, I would like to schedule a separate conversation about future opportunities. My direct email is below. I look forward to hearing from you." I read it 3 times. Then I typed back, "Mr. Kensington, thank you for your email. I would very much like to schedule that conversation. However, I want to be transparent. I am exploring options that would allow me to work with integrity while meeting my financial obligations. If the Kensington Group has interest in working with an independent consultant, I would welcome discussing what that might look like. If you are specifically looking for a firm-backed proposal, I can also recommend colleagues whose work I respect." I hit send. Then I wrote my resignation letter. Morning came too fast. I woke up on the couch, my laptop dead. Daniel was in the kitchen making coffee. "I am resigning today and I am starting my own consulting practice." Daniel's face split into a genuine grin. "Good, about time. Terrified but proud." Chloe wandered in. Why is Mama sleeping on the couch? Because Mama had big thoughts last night, Daniel said. Let's get you ready for school. I showered, put on my best suit. My phone had 6 missed calls from Harvey's office. There was one email that mattered, though. Edward's response sent at 7:30 in the morning. Ms. Boyd, your transparency is exactly why I want to work with you. The Kensington Group has worked with independent consultants before. Let's schedule a call for this afternoon. Our standard consultant contracts include a signing advance of $70,000. Regards, Edward, $70,000, enough to cover our expenses for months. I typed back a confirmation. Daniel grinned and hugged me tightly, reminding me that we were a team and could handle whatever came next. I felt a huge weight lift off my shoulders as I prepared for the final confrontation. The drive to Vance Financial felt different this morning. I was calm, clear about what I needed to do. I headed straight for Harvey's office. His assistant, Margaret, looked up with relief. Go right in. Harvey was on the phone but gestured me inside. I sat down, placed my letter on his desk. Please tell me that is your presentation notes. It is my resignation, effective immediately. Shock, disbelief, anger, and panic washed over his face. Clara, don't be rash. We can work through this. You chose family loyalty over professional merit. Harvey, Julian's been suspended. Suspended, not fired. He will be back in a month. Harvey, I have given this firm 11 years. Yesterday you let your cousin steal my work, lie about my position, and torpedo a massive deal. What do you want? More money? A promotion? I want to work somewhere that respects me. That is not here. Furthermore, the predictive volatility algorithm at the heart of this entire Kensington proposal is my proprietary technology. I wrote the core engine in my own time, on my own hardware, before Vance Financial ever conceived of this project, and I registered the copyright. If this firm attempts to use my proprietary codebase, or if Julian attempts to present any modification of my system's architecture without my explicit licensings, I will take immediate legal action. Any unauthorized deployment of my code will constitute copyright infringement under Title 17, Section 106 of the United States Code. We will seek statutory damages and an immediate injunction. Harvey's face drained of color. You would destroy this firm's chances? I am protecting my assets. I left his office without another word. Diana Cole intercepted me near the elevators. Clara, what? I have just resigned. You cannot. We need you. You needed me yesterday, Diana. Today I am taking care of myself. The doors closed. I spent the morning registering Flynn Systems Consulting as a limited liability company and setting up a business account. Edward Kensington called that afternoon, saying Harvey had actually called to recommend me as the best systems architect in the business. That surprised me. Edward proposed moving forward with the custom trading platform on a 24-month development cycle, offering a contract of $280,000. This was more than I had made in the last 4 years at Vance combined. We finalized terms, and right after hanging up, my phone rang again. It was Sarah Walsh, Chief Technology Officer at Oakley Investments. Word had already traveled about my departure, and she wanted to meet about a potential project. Within days, I had 4 client meetings scheduled and 2 more contracts in negotiation. The Kensington agreement was signed, and a $70,000 advance hit my account on Friday. Daniel took me and Chloe out to celebrate at our favorite Italian place. Chloe drew pictures on her paper placemat while Daniel and I talked about the future. You were right, I told him, about not being able to afford to stay. I am always right. He grinned. 5 months later, Flynn Systems Consulting had 8 active clients and 3 contractors. Operating remotely allowed me to be home for Chloe. The Kensington platform was progressing beautifully, and I heard Julian had been forced to resign from Vance Financial. Meanwhile, my YouTube channel, where I documented my journey, was gaining traction. We have passed 11,000 subscribers, and my goal was 12,000 by month's end. It felt good to build a supportive community. The highlight was Chloe drawing a picture of me connecting stick figures. She said it was for my office, and I hung it behind my monitor as a reminder of why I worked. Daniel's design work had also picked up through my client referrals. He suggested merging our businesses since we were running 2 halves of the same operation. I agreed, and by month 6, we officially launched Flynn Systems and Design, a full-service technology and creative consultancy. Daniel focused on projects he loved. The Kensington platform launched in month 8, and Edward referred me to 4 other investment groups, praising my integrity. By month 10, Flynn Systems and Design employed 6 contractors in a downtown workspace. Sitting on our balcony one evening, Daniel asked if I ever wondered what would have happened if Julian had not stolen my presentation. I probably would have stayed at Vance for years, I said. This is different, not better, but I am truly happy. We sat in silence, hoping others facing exploitation would find the courage to walk away. The payback office was not about revenge. It was about understanding your value and building on your own terms. My phone buzzed with an inquiry from a Seattle firm, a promise of new challenges tomorrow. Tonight, I sat with my partner, grateful for the leap. The city lights glimmered. Somewhere someone was deciding to bet on themselves. Everyone deserves to work where they are valued. It took me 11 years and a stolen presentation to learn that, but once I did, everything changed. If you are watching, consider this your sign. Your worth is not determined by those who cannot see it. Sometimes, walking away is the most empowering choice you can make. Thanks for being part of this journey. Hit that subscribe button, and let's keep building this community together. I hope you find the strength to recognize your own worth, build something you love, and never let anyone steal your achievements. The future is yours when you take charge.